One, two, three. Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Aheen. My ID last four digit 1410. Today we are presenting qualitative versus quantitative research method. They are my teammates Yeasin Arafat, Tuhinur Jaman, Afzal Raju, and Mohammad Nasim. Now let's get straight into the content. The foundation of any research is its methodology, the systematic framework that guide how a study is planned, conduct, and interpret. But methodology is not just about picking a method. It is a rotate into philosophical ideas. Ontology, which is our assumption about reality, and epistemology, which was we believe knowledge is created. How believe knowledge is created. Those two ideas determine which research approach a researcher will use. There are two dominant approaches, qualitative and quantitative. Now, qualitative research. Qualitative research is about exploring meaning, context, and human experience. It doesn't ask how many, it asks how and why. It has five key characteristics uh, like exploratory, asking open questions, inductive, building theory from data, its use small sample, depth over breadth, it produce rich data from interviews, focus group, observation, etc. And it is flexible. To design involves as the research process. So if you want to understand why people behave the way they do, qualitative is your tools. That's all for me. Now my next teammate will continue the presentation.
Hello everyone. Now I'm going to talk about quantitative research and then briefly compare it with qualitative research. So, at first, let's understand the quantitative research. Quantitative research is about measuring variable numerically and using statistical analysis to test hypotheses. Now I will explain the main characteristics shown on the slide. So, at first is confirmatory. In quantitative research is confirmatory, which means it is used to test existing theories or hypotheses. For example, a research might assume that students who study more get higher grades and then collect data to prove whether this is true or not. Secondly, deductive. This approach follows a top-down process. It starts with a theory, then forms hypotheses, and finally collects data to test it. So it moves from general ideas to specific results. Thirdly, large samples. So quantitative research usually involves large number of participants. This is important because large samples make the results more reliable and statistically significant. The fourth one is structured. The process is highly organized and structured. Researchers use tools like surveys, questionnaires, experiments, and secondary data. In this session, everything is planned in advance and there is a very little flexibility during the study. So finally, replicable. One important feature is that the results can be repeated or replicated by other researchers. This makes the findings more reliable and generalizable. Next slide, please. Now let's move to the key differences between qualitative and quantitative research. First is purpose. Qualitative research focuses on exploring meaning and context, while quantitative research focuses on measuring and testing hypotheses. Secondly, data type. Qualitative research uses words, narratives, and images, whereas quantitative research uses numbers and statistics. Thirdly, reasoning. Qualitative research is inductive, meaning it builds theories from data. On the other hand, qualitative research is deductive, that means it tests existing theories. The the fourth one is sample size. In qualitative research uses small and purposive samples, while quantitative research uses large and basically often it uses random samples. The fifth one is analysis. Qualitative research involves the thematic or narrative analysis and it focuses on meaning and patterns. But qualitative research uses statistical methods to analyze numerical data. The sixth is outcome. Qualitative research provides deep, contextual insights, while quantitative research provides generalizable findings that can apply to a large populations. Finally, is flexibility. Qualitative research is flexible and evolving, whereas the quantitative research is fixed and structured. So, both qualitative and quantitative research are very important, but they serve different purposes. Qualitative helps us to understand why and how, while quantitative helps us understand how much and how many. Thank you. That's all from me.
Good evening. This is Mohammad Tuhinur Jaman with student ID 1149. Now I will talk about research design and data collections. Research design depends on the research questions. Qualitative methods include case study, infography, narrative. On the other hand, quantitative methods include surveys, experiments, correlational studies. Choosing design depends on objective and resources. Moving to the next slide. Data analysis method. Qualitative analysis focuses on themes, patterns, and meanings. On the other hand, quantitative analysis uses statistics like means, regression, t-test. So, both methods help convert raw data into useful insights. It's all about for me. Now, our next teammate will continue this presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Afzal Raju. Student last four digit is 1031. Now I'll present my part on qualitative and quantitative research method, focusing on their advantage, limitation, method section, and mixed method. First of all, advantage and limitation. For qualitative research, help us understand people's experience and opinion in depth. It provides detailed insights and explain why something happens. It is also flexible. However, it can be subjective, difficult to generalize, and time consuming. Now, for quantitative research, this method uses number and statistics. It provides objectives and reliable result and work well for large population, but it may lack depth, cannot fully explain human behavior, and sometimes oversimplify complex issues. Next slide, please. Now, choosing the right method. So, how do we choose the right method? There are four key points. First, the research question. Why, if the question is why or how, we should choose the qualitative research. And if the research question is how many or how much, then we should choose the quantitative method. And the second type is the type of data. If the data type is opinion based, then we should choose qualitative method. And on the other hand, if the data type is number based, then we should choose quantitative method. And the third is the approach. If the approach was human understanding based, then we should call qualitative method. And if the approach should measurement and facts, then we should choose quantitative method. And the fourth is the resource. If the resource is small and simple, then we should go to qualitative method. And if the resource is large data, then we should choose quantitative method. Next slide, please. Now, mixed method research. Finally, mixed method research, this combine both methods to give a more complete understanding. There are three types. First one is sequential explanatory, where number come first, then explanation. Then sequential exploratory, where idea first, then testing. And the third one is concurrent triangulation, where both at the same time. After explaining the three slides, we can conclude that there is no single best method. The choice depend on the research goal. Sometimes combine both are the provide best result. Thank you from my side. Now I should call my next teammate, Nasim. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Nasim. My last four digit of my student ID 1101. Today I will briefly discuss real-world explanation of research methodology. Research methodology helps us understand problem and find solution using different approaches like qualitative and quantitative and mixed of methods. First, in healthcare, qualitative research is used to explore patient experience and reasons. For example, it helps us understand why patients avoid mental health care, which cannot be explained by number alone. Second, in social work, mixed methods are used. It combines both data and personal insights. For example, to study the effectiveness of counseling on student stress, research use both surveys and interviews. Third, in public policy, uh, quantitative research is very important. It used numerical data for large scale analysis, such as finding how many uh, households are affected by housing storage. Next slide. Key, key takeaways. Research methodology provides a structured way to solve the problem. Qualitative research explain why, opinion, and experience. Qualitative research explain how much, number of, and statistics. Um, Mixed method combines are both a better accuracy. Different fields use different methods based on research goal. Proper methodology and ensure the valid and reliable result. Thank you. That's my presentation.